Welcome back to Montana this morning. The time is now 6:43. Taking a look at that sun, looking a little orange this morning. Of course, that's a sign of the smoke we've had for the past couple of days. Now, will there be a cool down inside? Ed has that answer for us in just a few minutes with his forecast. But for now, let's go ahead and get to the news. Our top story this morning, as Billings Public School students get ready for their first day of school today. Just a few days into their new school year, kids in Shepherd will have to stay home. The culprit, COVID-19. Classes in the Shepherd district are canceled for the next 2 days following a positive case. The superintendent confirmed the information in a Facebook post. Schools there will now undergo a deep cleaning. The district planned to check out laptops to all students in case a situation like this arose. However, they weren't able to get that done before they made the call. The superintendent said teachers will be contacting their students to let them know what they can work on today and tomorrow. Meanwhile, here in Billings, the students are heading back to class this morning. And of course, there are a lot of changes in store for the parents. MTN's Andrea Lutz is here to help us get ready for the first day of school. Andrea, tell us about some new last-minute details for block scheduling that was just announced by SD2 officials.
Yeah, good morning, Victoria. You know, that has been kind of the big question for parents and some teachers actually and students is that block schedule. What is that going to look like and what is that going to mean? We're here this morning at Senior where students are about ready to descend onto the campus here and actually put that block scheduling to use. So it's going to be a little interesting to see how it works on the first day of school. But those changes were actually handed down just yesterday. So this is brand new information this morning for parents and students at the request of the health department to School District 2. This is how it's all going to work. The high schools will now have class periods 1 to 3 for 5 days, then switch and have periods 4 through 6 for the next 5 days and so on. It is a change from early last week when high school students would have spent 2 weeks in their first 3 class periods before that switch that was made to the later 3 periods.
What's important is the partnership with Riverstone Health, the communication, and what I want to communicate to our parents and our teachers, our staff, is that we need to be flexible. Are we approaching numbers that could place us into remote? Possibly. I want us to be ready to change at a moment's notice and move to the direction we need to move when we need to move.
And so that really is the big message coming from School District 2 and from health officials is just to remain flexible as we try and figure out how the school year is actually going to go this year. And if cases continue to rise like we've seen in Yellowstone County for the past week to the tune of about 12%, that's how many different COVID-19 cases we've seen rise, then School District 2 officials are going to have to consult again with health officials and see if they're going to have to go back to remote learning. But that being said, it is the first day of school, Victoria, and it is exciting for parents and students because it's been about 6 months since anyone has been on school and in classrooms. So happy first day of school.
Thank you very much, Andrea. And even with classes back in session today, local health officials say they could close the schools if COVID-19 becomes unmanageable. County health leaders will assign green, yellow, or red to the following metrics: trends of cases in children and youth, the capacity of local hospitals, the 7-day average of new cases per 100,000 people, and the weekly test positivity rate. If 3 or 4 of those are red, schools will be forced to close.
The clinical metrics we developed are designed to help us understand if things are getting better or if the direction is getting worse in our community, and how much of that direction is being affected by the schools being open.
And all of this as many parents may be searching for after-school options. Q2's Jay Cohn brings us a closer look at a few services utilized by more than 1,200 Billings kids.
With your apple, get up and move really fast.
For many kids, the most vulnerable part of the day are the hours after school when parents are still working, but a youngster's energy is still running at full speed. Fortunately, here in Billings, a network of nonprofit, public, and faith-based programs help bridge the gap when work schedules and school schedules don't jive. The Billings YMCA runs after-school programs both at its downtown location and at several schools across town. Kids from Meadowlark, Boulder, Arrowhead can utilize the Y programs either by busing to Ben Steele Middle School or downtown. New this year, the Y is running the after-school program at Alkali Creek Elementary, in addition to off-site locations at Elysian, Elder Grove, and Canyon Creek schools.
As soon as they get here every day, we provide a snack for them, do a little homework time for them, and then they swim once a week. All of our groups, even our off-site locations, will bus them on site so that they can swim once a week. They do physical activity, whether it's playing out on our new playground, gym games. We do art, STEM, keeping them busy, and then the program just ends by 6 every day.
In South Billings, Friendship House has been a fixture for 65 years, dating back to when 4 downtown churches joined forces to serve the youth in the community. Today, its preschool, after-school, and teen programs can handle as many as 400 kids a day. In addition to an on-site facility at Orchard, Friendship House provides bus service from 8 elementary schools and Riverside Middle School. Director Matt Lundgren tells us they have plenty of openings for the current school year. School District 2's fee-based Care Academy offers before and after-school programs at 5 elementary schools. Funded in part through tuition and the United Way, the Academy helps as many as 300 students a day with a focus on academics, reading, and recreation. Sign-ups happen in the spring, so the program is full now, but Director Mark Lambot says they do keep a waiting list for future openings. And last but not least, the Boys and Girls Clubs offer after-school programs to as many as 450 kids a day. The main clubhouses at McKinley, Castle Rock, Medicine Crow, and Bear Family will open August 31st. New this year, microsites at Beartooth, Bench, Newman, and Ponderosa, a major shift in how the club reaches kids in need.
It's a big shift from our traditional model of bringing kids from multiple schools into our bigger sites. But because of trying to keep the kids as safe as we can and to reach as many kids as we can, we've got to go out to the schools and serve the kids where they are.
The club hopes to add another 4 microsite clubhouses at Broadwater, Eagle Cliffs, Washington, and Miles Avenue by mid-September. But it all depends on funding and recruiting qualified staff.
That's probably our biggest challenge, if we can figure out the money, is how to get those staff, because we need to get these clubs open as close to the beginning of school as we can, because our kids and our families need that.
In Billings, Jay Cohn reporting for MTN News.
And Governor Steve Bullock set aside $30 million from the state's COVID relief funds to support and expand child care for school-aged children. Those grants became available just last week. In other news this morning, the search continues for a 6-month-old Flathead County baby taken by his non-custodial father and his father's girlfriend. An Amber Alert was issued for 6-month-old Lucas Warner from Columbia Falls late Saturday night. Andrew Warner and Haley Emerson are accused of abducting the baby. Andrew is reportedly bipolar and off his medication. He's 20 years old, about 6 feet tall, 160 pounds with blonde hair and hazel eyes. Emerson is 19 years old, 5 feet tall, 159 pounds with blonde hair and green eyes. The alert originally said the two were in a Dodge Dakota, but that vehicle has been found. Now authorities say to watch out for a white 1990s to 2000 Chevrolet extended pickup truck with unknown plates. They are possibly headed to the Bob Marshall Wilderness, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Wyoming. If you have any information, call the Flathead County Sheriff. In national news this morning, the Republican National Convention kicks off today. Compared to most years, the events in Charlotte, North Carolina will be scaled down significantly. Honoring the great American story is the theme of this year's convention. Former UN Secretary Nikki Haley will speak tonight. So will Mark and Patricia McCloskey, the Missouri couple who waved guns at protesters outside their home back in June. President Trump will deliver his acceptance speech from the White House on Thursday. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy is expected to be grilled today about changes he implemented that critics say could hinder mail-in voting this November. He'll testify in front of a committee in the U.S. House after they passed a major funding bill for the Postal Service over the weekend. $25 billion would be shifted to the agency, and changes they made this summer would be reversed. However, USPS released a statement saying the legislation would restrain the ability for them to make improvements. The bill is not expected to be taken up by the Senate. Back-to-back storms are expected to strike the Gulf Coast, and both are potentially hurricanes. Up first, Marco, which is expected to make landfall later today. Laura is coming right on its tail. Forecasters predict it will be even more intense than Marco, as the storm has already killed at least 11 people in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Preparations are now underway in Louisiana, Mississippi, and beyond. It was 15 years ago this week that Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans and the surrounding area. More than 1,800 deaths have been blamed on that storm. Now we go to the Pacific Coast, where historic wildfires in California are not letting up. Nearly 1.3 million acres have already been charred as more than 14,000 exhausted firefighters battle nonstop flames. Fire teams from 10 different states and 2 countries, including Australia, are being flown in to help. One of the wildfires in California ranks as the second largest in the state's history. Satellite images show smoke from the fires traveling thousands of miles. And the summer of cancellations continues. The annual Burn the Point car show set for Labor Day weekend will not happen this year. The event's board said they explored every avenue but couldn't overcome challenges brought on by the pandemic, saying the safety of our community and integrity of our organizations are both too great to risk. They noted the tradition would continue in 2021. What a bummer. We just had Teddy Vogel on not too long ago talking about this event, and I think it was something we were all looking forward to with this so many canceled events this past summer, but here's another one to add to the list, Ed.
That's for sure, and I know it was a really tough decision for him, talking to him about what they had felt that they had to do. So just one of those things that we're going to have to tick off the list like so many other things from 2020.
And we can only hope for better results next summer.
That's for sure.
Get back to it, hopefully.
Well, we can't burn the point, but something's burning. Here's a look out towards the sun this morning, where the wildfire smoke that Victoria was talking about from California continues to move up this direction. At 57 degrees here to get the day started. It is the first day of school for School District 2 and a few of the other schools. Some have already been, of course, already been in session. But look out for the kids today, especially at the crosswalks and even areas where they just skip across the street. Crossing guards will be out there trying to do their job, so follow their directions as well. Temperatures into the 40s and 50s to 50s to 60s once we get into the eastern plains, and that's just to get the morning rolling. These are pretty typical readings for this time of the year. The air is fairly dry. We already have some smoke concerns here from Bozeman over towards Dillon and through northern Wyoming. Air quality issues will continue to develop through the day today as we have more of that smoke continuing to move in. You see favoring the southern half of Montana and northern Wyoming. So we've got smoke, we got heat, we got dry conditions, temperatures up into the 90s, possibly even some triple digits. And a lot of that will depend on how much cloud cover moves in, as we've got a little moisture and then the smoke on top of it. Now, there's not going to be enough moisture close to the surface to create much as far as any measurable moisture today. A few storms could develop in the mountain foothills, but tomorrow behind the front, a few of these isolated storms start to develop. And again, wind is going to be the bigger concern, more so than the potential for showers and thunderstorms that can actually bring a lot of moisture to the ground. And again, a few showers around on Wednesday as well. Temperatures will start to push down, and then these showers will become a little more frequent as the week goes on. Today's mainly about how hot will it get and how smoky will it get. Temperatures will be in the 80s and 90s in central and western Montana. Notice that we start to see those clouds move in, and then sunshine could allow temperatures to warm up as high as the triple digits across the eastern plains for later in the afternoon. And so we'll see the isolated storms starting to ripple off the mountains. For today, the school kids going out, we'll be looking at the 60s first thing in the day, but certainly some of that smoky haze will develop along with the heat by the time we start getting into the afternoon. We could be close to record highs in Billings, Miles City, Livingston, Sheridan. Don't really expect any to tumble today, and mainly because it's going to be a struggle to hit these afternoon highs because of the smoke that also has to come into the formula as well. Temperatures into the 50s and 60s for the overnight lows. Daytime highs tomorrow will be mainly in the 90s. In the extended outlook, looking at those temperatures to be the hottest today and then back off. Let's see what's on CBS This Morning.
Coming up, the latest on historic California wildfires and 2 major storms approaching the Gulf Coast. Plus, we talk with President Trump's Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, ahead of the Republican National Convention. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
Time is 6:57. All right, kids, as we eat our Cheerios this morning and we get our backpacks all ready, we really do wish you a happy, safe first day of school. Just remember, wear that mask, keep your hands clean, sanitize if you can, and we're all in this together. And so your teachers and your fellow students are excited to be back. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.